Hello, everyone. My name is James, and welcome to Team Gavel. So, I went to MagFest. I did this last year as well. And so, this is my first time going back to it. Second time going overall with second time having a panel. All right, let's go. Cool. It feels like it's still my first stream of the year, but no, I'm here now, and looks like things are working. Oh, I see what's not working. Let me fix the audio really quickly. I may have to reboot. Oh, that's why. There we go. Hopefully you guys are hearing the music now too from Pretzel. I'm very much shaking the cobwebs off, still trying to kind of wake up. I would very much like to get some sleep for like the rest of the week, but life goes on, so does work. So that's what we're here for. All right. Something silly that I decided to add for literally no reason other than the fact that I like frogs. I've added a frog counter. And so if you mention frogs, or if you want to just call me out for talking about them for a lot, then there's now a command that will add to a counter. So if you type in !frog, you can kick us off. Technically the command's already at 1, and so anything further, just go in from there. Completely unrelated to both MagFest, Pokemon, or really anything. But yeah, so if you don't know who I am, my name's James Williams. I'm an attorney at Tengen Law based in Richmond, Virginia. And I am working in the space of intellectual property, business formation in Virginia, and then intellectual property like copyright and trademark. One other central aspect of my firm and my business is immigration. And so if you end up wanting to chat about the legal perspectives about any of those things, then this is a very casual and just informal space to have what I refer to as office hours. So you can come in, you can chat about legal stuff, news, lawsuits that have been filed, all those things, bills. I try to keep most of that limited to the gaming industry, but yeah, if something comes up and the community's really passionate about it, then we can talk about it. Might put some boundaries up around that if the time comes, and I'll just get into that there. But anyway, like I said, I'm a lawyer here. I went to MagFest and I joined some of my friends at Premack Rogers Downs, and we did an intellectual property panel. So there were a couple of them. My mentor, Noah Downs, was on 12 panels over the full 4-day MagFest event. And so he did a lot of law panels. He did a lot of non-legal focused panels as well about podcasting, about TTRPGs, and other things. Of course, he could talk about the legal side of all of that, but we had a pretty good time just going into the basics of intellectual property like copyright and trademark, something I've done here. And so if you're ever curious about any of those videos, then I've got a link to our YouTube page specifically for this channel right here, where you can go through and catch all the VODs. We're also pulling clips and putting those shorts on there as well. Let me see how our page is looking right now. my shorts doing? Oh. They're doing all right. About what I'd expect. Okay, cool. So yeah, just check it out. I'll go ahead and plug in some of my other stuff as well. If you want to get to follow me and check in with me offline, we've also got a Discord as well. I can drop that link if anyone wants to ask for it. Okay, so big things. I mean, when the lawyers get together, it's a lot of just spitballing and complaining about things. And sometimes they turn into really productive conversations, and other times it's just like, work, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. But I've been trying really hard to basically come up with content creation plans and educational seminars or other things related to that. But I'd like to be in a position where I can get into a little bit more advocacy. And so that reminds me, I'm going to do something else. Pardon the neurodivergence here. Let me see if I can follow. All right, let me see if this is what I think it is. It is. Okay, cool. So yeah, we talked about quite a few. Oh, I don't even have the stream captions turned on. I thought I did. Let's refresh this. All right, well, apparently I didn't have the stream captions on, so hopefully you can see those now. What I was starting to get into is just some of the things that we talked about. We were expecting quite a bit of questions, just many questions about Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse, maybe some stuff about AI and tech, and then a bunch of fair use type questions of, well, I make fan content and I sell downstairs in the marketplace. But, this mean company, Nintendo, keeps sending me these letters. We kept expecting a lot of legal advice type questions like that. But honestly, we didn't get any questions that were quite so hard for us to manage. I mean, everything was kind of just like, generative AI, can you explain some of the potential legal consequences? And that's something that I've been talking about here, and I've looked into a little bit more. There are definitely some updates. There's a lot going on in terms of litigation, in terms of policy adoption as well. And so policies, we're talking about terms of service related policies. We're talking about, let's see, what other things? I don't know, just company-wide policies on whether AI or generative AI specifically can be used. But yeah, I mean, very much still keeping an eye on the different types of tools and trying to figure out how they can source the underlying content that they use to generate, the end result content. All right, so I'm just going to go through some of the bullet points and things that I remembered in my stream of consciousness time. And so whenever we talked about fair use and whether companies sue, I mean, one of the questions that came up was basically like, how does it work here? But like, how does it work that there is an entire Smash database online, but Nintendo generally is notorious about cease and desist letters, DMCA notices, all that stuff. And any question like that, it really just came down to, well, unless we're in the room with the people who make the decisions, we don't really know. But practically speaking, it's going to come down to two things. One, the willingness and ability to enforce the IP that's there. And willingness also includes, or the ability part also includes like money and time. And then the other aspect is really just, is there some social or cultural value that they're trying to defend? And so like with Nintendo, you know, the first part, it really just comes down to, is it going to be worth the money? Is it going to be worth the resources to have their team, their legal team, go out, find everybody, and take them all down? For most content, if you aren't super successful and making a lot of money as a fan creator, then you're probably not going to be worth their time. They're not going to get a lot of return on the effort that goes into it. So it's just a purely business and financial type decision there. And so leading into the second point, it always just comes down to, hey, if Nintendo wants to hold itself out as a family-based company, then if you're making adult content or content that involves drugs, alcohol, controlled substances, and the like, then that may be something that goes against the value of the company. And regardless of whether it's copyright infringement that they're seeking or a cease and desist, or like a cease and desist tied to trademark or some other legal consideration, that's generally what's going to motivate a company to get involved. Even if they don't necessarily have a strong case, you know, those are going to be the times that they're going to want to do it for sure. So that was kind of the answer we gave at the time of the panel. It's just, hey, it's a business decision. And, you know, Artist Alley, the marketplace in most of these conventions, just not going to be worth their while. Unless they happen to have legal counsel there and they're like, please just take this down, you know, here you go. But that'd be expensive to send people to like every single convention. So, yeah. But, you know, those big tournaments, things that get really viral, there's a good chance that somebody's going to see it and they're going to say, hey, boss, we got to deal with this. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, we always get the question of how can we deal with fan content? Like, how can you make it safe? The short answer is get a license, you know, get permission from the company that you're using their characters and their content to make your own derivatives. Because that's, generally speaking, how copyright law is going to deal with or view your fan creations. It's all generally going to be a derivative work. There's an asterisk there. You know, it's going to come down to your individual uses and all of that. But a lot of people just recast the same characters and they just, you know, make stickers or other merchandise. And that's all just going to be derivative works for the most part. So that gets me into another topic that it's a problem I'm trying to look into. And it kind of just hit me in a way that is probably really obvious. But I was trying to think about, maybe we can look at something like music and how they've got a mechanical license, and it's basically like an automatic royalty setup. And I was just trying to think about if there's a way for us to kind of come up with mechanical licenses for fan-based content and also apply that into, any of the various services or platforms, whether it's Twitch, whether it's YouTube, Etsy, any of these big marketplaces of content. And the more that I thought about it, I'm like, well, okay, here's the deal. If fan content is going to be intellectual property and derivative works, then there's not really a way to bolster the rights of fan-based content without also limiting what is a derivative work. Maybe that's what we're looking for here, but that would need to be super narrowly tailored for it to be practical. And so what do I mean by that? Well, derivative works came up in a variety of contexts because, let's say, if copyright law was founded with the basic idea of the printing press and writings, then, derivative works were translations, which were originally seen as a fair use, but now they're not. And so that all just comes down to, hey, there's a market in that translation. And so big corporations or big rights holders are never going to be in a position where they're going to want to limit those derivative rights that they have. So that's the tricky spot about trying to come up with some fan content based license that is going to go across the board. And just to be clear, the licensing that I'm talking about is something to enable people to basically make Etsy stores or other things. Like if you're going to make a derivative work or something and it's going to be for personal private use, like you're probably going to be fine anyway. But how would we legitimize Artist Alley, I guess, is a question that I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, I still feel like I'm new to this whole conversation, and at TwitchCon, I ended up talking to people at Pretzel. I mean, honestly, that's what I would just like to take a week and just do some educational copyright, licensing, rights holding, like all of this stuff into some kind of really just nerd camp for lawyers in the entertainment and gaming industry. I don't see that, but hey, like creator camp, but for lawyers. And then we just try to brainstorm solutions. There's probably things like that, like the Copyright Society or other organizations, but yeah. I mean, I see those, and when I'm thinking about EULAs, like that's in a generally non-commercial kind of format. Yeah, okay. I mean, my really aspirational process of thought for this was just like, what if somebody like Twitch or like an organization such as Twitch or YouTube had a just like rev split. And it's like, hey, if you're going to refer to content that is either derivative or something of a specific brand or creator, then there's a direct attribution stage. And then combined with that, they just would split the revenue and say like, for the first like 500K views or the first 500 whatever, we'll have this rev split, and then after it goes viral, like more kudos to the person who's created the content. Yeah, but like after a certain point it flips and the rev split goes up for the creator, because at that point it's like, hey, look, hopefully there is a reward mechanism in place for creators for doing something. I mean, there's so many different ways that this example just doesn't really hold up without a whole bunch of qualifiers, because it's like, okay, right now they have the DMCA process and they would just take down the content. But, if we're trying to balance it out, we'd want to give them an incentive to allow the content. But it's like, you've got like this rev split, this forced license. I mean, Nintendo or somebody else would be like, I would rather just take all of the revenue. Kind of like what you're saying there, Inver. It's just like, yeah, Nintendo would absolutely want to take a larger portion. And, from their eyes, it'd be a decision about, I would rather just close down this account and maybe spin up my own version of it, and then I get all of the revenue as opposed to a portion of it. And it still is probably going to be a derivative work, and so they've got a right to enforce it. I don't know. I've been playing around with it. I want to look at some way for... I mean, at the end of the day, it always comes down to smaller creators trying to find some version of an OGL, open source license, or some variation, some way to get a license. Yeah, that could potentially, it could potentially work. The automation of the DMCA takedowns, it does cause problems, but yeah, I guess maybe the better term would be like the orc licensing from tabletop stuff, but yeah, maybe it really does just come down to a modification of the DMCA process. But I'm also just figuring how creators could still, anytime I talk to somebody and they're like, oh, I really just want to make fan content, I'm like, please, like, I get it, but if you make your own stuff, then you don't have to worry about the brands trying to grab any of the money back. And it's just a very practical thought. But outside of that piece, it's very much just a conversation about how can you convince somebody who owns all of the rights to share a piece of the pie with you. And generally, you have to get to the bargaining table with them. If I'm just a smaller creator, then I'm not going to get to that table, most likely, unless I've got a big project and I can flaunt the aspirations of big dollar signs or something like that. But if there was something kind of like an attribution product, or some kind of tagging system, or a variation on this automation, then I don't know, that might just like it. In some ways I kind of get what the OGL or D&D, like the D&D model, like I kind of get what they were trying to do, you know? I mean, obviously it's very financially motivated, but you know, if there were those types of thresholds, I don't know about giving them the content license. Like Noah was saying, I think that part just, it's a bit excessive. But then we just talked about the difference between like ownership and licenses that the original rights holders would get. I mean, should they get any type of right or privilege in the derivatives, the fan content? They normally have the right to, you know, manage that and prepare those derivatives. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, food for thought. I could just go into a big stream of consciousness and probably ramble for the next 30 minutes to an hour or so. The additive nature of derivative work. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I've hit the specific point or section that you're referring to yet, but I mean, I know generally speaking that the author is very against the analysis and just like the general jurisprudence that we've had, the legal history, and how everything kind of started out with, hey, a translation requires a lot of effort and there's value, and it's not a property right that we're trying to protect. Exactly. Like, what is the derivative value, or what is the value to society? The focus on that rather than, is there a market? And hey, this is my intellectual property, I have rights. It's kind of just like, no, you have a privilege that will go away after a limited period of time. And so that whole framing shifted with the original fair use cases. Yeah. I think that's interesting to just kind of think about and to see it all framed up together. So, I mean, I guess with the fan-based content system, yeah, I mean, if you're just, I guess I'm going through this. It's absolutely a heck of a battle. Like, in one capacity, if I like Pokemon and I say Dragonair is my favorite Pokemon, then in a hypo, if I were making stickers or other merchandise with just straight copies of Dragonair, then I'm not transforming it, I'm reproducing it. Putting in other formats may turn it into derivative works, you know, maybe I'm changing the style or something like that. But then that question that pretty much every lawyer gets at one point or another, which is, hey, but I heard that if I change it, you know, doing little things here and there, or if I change it like 51%, then that'll make it a transformative work and then fair use. I mean, if we actually had something that split that up, which would take major overhaul to the current system that we have, then, you know, you might be able to give a little bit more context on what transformative works actually are. You might be able to actually say, hey, fair use is not just a defense, it's actually a right. And I guess that's something that might have to be a thing, you know? Just changing that defense into an actual legal right. And that would help the people who have more of a derivative work, like taking Dragonair and changing it into like a goth version where it's all black and not sparkly or whatever, you know? Here's Dragonair if it were raised as a ghost type. You know, people do a lot of those mods and things. And I mean, I definitely think that there's some creativity and some value there. Yeah. Maybe that's just where I'm headed. I don't know. I'm just going to write some notes down and think about this more. Literally writing notes down. So, yeah, you know, the problem outside of this kind of context is there's still a lot of exploitation, and each type of media has its own quirks. And so, like the OGL, the Orc license, any of that stuff, really nice when you're talking about things in the context of tabletop and, you know, working from an existing system. But outside of that, the licensing terms don't really work. And that was a question that came up during one of the panels. It was like, hey, would you use the Orc license for digital content? And Ben and Noah were just like, no, not really, because that wasn't part of the conversation at the time. So, yeah. As much as I would like to be able to say, let's make one license or, you know, one mechanical right, like add it to the code section. I think we would have to add it for each type of content or to pair it. I'm reading through your comment right now. We have an entire subculture of video game streaming and art alleys that perpetuate infringement all the time. Is it all just a game of risk? Stay small enough so you never get targeted? Yeah. I mean, that's the funny thing though, like you're saying, because people rarely think that way. They're like, oh, I'm going to make a whole bunch of stuff because I want to be big and famous. And I know everybody is just super sweaty over Astarion right now, or in our circle at the convention, Karlach. You know, we're going to do a whole bunch of Baldur's Gate 3 stuff. And they're doing it specifically because they're like, hey, these are really popular characters and I'm here to make money. And I like this content myself, so I want to share the experiences and find those other sweaty Baldur's Gate 3 players, you know? And so very much from a fundamental aspect, a lot of that is like, hey, I want to take the goodwill that the people, the developers behind Baldur's Gate have put into it. So, I mean, yeah, it really is like, I want to infringe on the rights. If you can find it, you know, sometimes they're just like, oh no, I just like this content, but you got to ask, okay, but then why are you commercializing your interest in the content? That's also putting things from this perspective of the people who own the IP have a natural right to do it, which is definitely that conversation of, is it utilitarian? You get what you can until the value, you know, passes off to society. And then you just kind of like lose that exclusivity. But yeah, patents have not been expanding at the same rate in length of time, such as copyrights and things, which is, I guess, all the more power to them for maintaining that exclusivity, but for a limited duration. And so, you know, we have to wonder, all the lobbying from Disney and, you know, the Mickey fan club, like how much of that really is good now, long term? Like if we also just limited the time, if we knocked off the CTEA.
If you take your time and plan things out and make sure that you are set up.
No, we're not dealing with any type of audio songs or lyrics-based music. There we go. But yeah, so like, I don't know, is one of the overhauls just gutting the length of time and just saying, hey Disney, you really messed this up for everyone, and we really just need to have fan-based content? Maybe that's part of the change too. Obviously, there's a really big logistical nightmare to messing around with. There's a logistical nightmare to doing any big overhaul of the copyright system because, for better or worse, people have been relying on it. And so, yeah, if there's going to be a big change, there's absolutely going to need to be notice and a transition period so that everybody can get their contracts and things in order. Which, fortunately, that's what happened with D&D 1. And, you know, it got walked back quite a bit before the policy really hit. But yeah, this is nerdy law stuff about copyright law. And so I'm just generally trying to figure out ways to plan my content. Some of it's just going to be me needing to hustle. I've got to work on just a lot of research so that I can actually talk about this stuff in a context that sounds intelligible and not just, I'm lawman, here's my soapbox. And everybody's like, bro, that's not even how this, like, that's just not how the industry works. So I'm trying to avoid that kind of stuff. But to do it, I have to be very vulnerable and ask a lot of questions. So that's research. But things that I am currently interested in looking into, one, just like licensing, whether it relates to copyright and fair use or just licensing in general, ways to potentially make it simpler. And I have a handy little list here. And I'm writing down things. So yeah, I've got an interest in focusing on licensing this year, just from the copyright perspective. And then let's see. Some of the other topics that have come up that I'm really interested in doing a deep dive. Enver, we've talked a little bit about my interest. Well, not really my interest, but just like my background doing a lot of immigration work. And so I have very much been wanting to put together a bunch of content that just goes through, you know, here is a know-all, like here's a series that will help people who are immigrants talk about streaming, you know? How do I own things? Like, do I own the IP rights? You know, money and employment? Does streaming impact my visa? There's a lot of complications depending on your visa status in the United States. If you're here for temporary stay, then you're probably not going to be streaming full time or anything like that. And it really is going to come down to, do you have an immigrant visa or a non-immigrant visa? And then what are the requirements and obligations that you have within those specific settings? And then if you're somebody who's in removal proceedings, it's going to be a slight variation of those two topics. And so, like, honestly, part of this is just getting questions like I saw on Reddit right before MagFest. Somebody said, hey, I'm in the United States and I'm streaming, but I'm on a student visa. Can I accept affiliate status and stream from the United States and get paid? And I was just like, I absolutely should know the answer to this. And to the extent that I don't, I would love to figure it out. It depends on which type of student visa you're on, but there's like an exchange one, which is the J visa, and then there's an F1, which is going to be somebody just going to like undergrad. So anyway, my short-term answer there was, you probably shouldn't do it because the money is going to be earned inside the United States, and it's going to be treated as part of this very broad term in the immigration code of work. And so it gets really tricky. The person, in theory, they have their account that was made outside the United States. But the problem is the INA, the Immigration Nationality Act, just doesn't specify. There are some references to like remote work or other things, but generally speaking, if you want to work, they just say, look, you have to get employment authorization. And generally as a student, your work has to be related to your program. So they have some exceptions, but the safe route is, hey, probably don't do this, because the consequence of messing around with it is they'll say, hey, you violated your visa. Now, not only are you not allowed to stream, but also you're not allowed to be in the United States anymore. You have to be gone. That's pretty terrifying. Just like, oh, I thought this would be a fun little side project and like not a big deal. And then all of a sudden you are being put back on a plane, and if you had friends at school or whatever, then you end up losing that. There's just a lot of, for people who are on any kind of basis eligible to be removed from the United States. There's just like that cloud looming in the distance. So yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I want to get a little bit more involved in that piece. I mean, well, I guess when we're talking about monetizing accounts, like, okay. So your question is, hey, I make TikToks, but, or hey, I do stream. Does that count? Is that kind of a fair summary? The monetization aspect is probably pretty relevant. The short answer is I would also want to double check whether or not like an unpaid internship kind of situation would qualify, but like if you're not monetizing it, then you might be able to get away with it. You're not gonna run into the dual position of, hey, this is work and also, I'm responsible for taxes, which, is a whole big mess. Do you have to pay taxes? Are they United States-based taxes? Are they based on foreign country? Combination of both? But if I just make a personal TikTok account or like a blog, then it's probably not. I mean, I'm thinking about it from a reporting perspective, and you're absolutely going to be responsible at the time that you're looking at monetization. But, this is, like I said, what I want to look into a little bit more. Yeah, so I'm just gonna try to do a really quick I'm gonna see if I can go on to Google really quickly. I'm applying for an I-130. Let's see, student. I mean, I've seen some people talking about internships counting. If you're a student, everything really is just going to come down to the exception that specifically addresses like internships and stuff. There's a college site that says if an internship is properly unpaid within the DOL rules, which that's just, there's wage theft, and then there's just another word that I don't want to say on stream. And we could talk about exploitation. I think that's a safe word. But anyway, it's enough of a reason to give pause before somebody wants to look into, hey, should I just pop up a channel and start making some money? Yeah. So part of the Department of Labor rules that look into internships and stuff is all just coming down to are you being forced to work, and how exploitative is it? Does it fall within the normal framework? Is it OPT, optional practical training? Because there's a specific framework for that. But yeah, something that I would really like to look into quite a bit more. And then, just talking about aside from, people who are trying to work, I mean, you can be an immigrant who works. Maybe so long as I'm not being forced into making TikToks in an internship and it's not monetized, I'm probably okay. Yeah, I mean, it would be a very use-based analysis situation of like, what are you trying to do? And then just trying to look through the code section. And I kind of see it, I see it the same way of just like looking through the DMCA provisions or some of the other provisions, being like, okay, do we fall under the safe harbor? Let's just go through point 1, That's very much how the immigration code is set up. It's just like, okay, well, I'm on a student visa, and so is that an F or a J? And then it says, here's what this means. And then bullet point A, employment, So you kind of just have to go through it section by section with the context in mind. But like people who are here, some of them have built-in employment authorization. And so the fact that you're working is probably fine in those contexts. Like if you have a green card application, that's an immigrant-based visa process. And so you'll get an employment authorization document through that. And once you have it, it doesn't matter. Like you can, if we're looking at it from like a family-based petition, then it doesn't matter what type of work you have. Some of the student-based positions, if you go ahead and get that employment authorization, then like, hey, it's fine. If you're going to school to learn about streaming and media production or entertainment, then you might still need to request an employment authorization document, but it would be related to your degree. And so then you just have to figure out, okay, there is a 20-hour cap on the work that you're allowed to do. And so streaming for 20 hours a week as a student would be a cap for you at that point. And so if you have any sponsorship obligations or other deliverables related to anything else you're trying to do, well, that's something you got to think about. And likewise, there are certain things that you wouldn't be able to agree to as a deliverable as an immigrant. If you're here on certain types of visas, you're not really allowed to leave. And so if there's something abroad, like an event, then you may or may not be able to go. Asylum is really tricky in terms of some of the complications, but if you enter the US unlawfully and then, for example, are applying for asylum with the courts as a defense, just like, fair use, it's like, hey, we're all acknowledging that this happened and it was unlawful, but I have a legitimate reason for, why I didn't do it the right way, or that's not really the best way to phrase it, but I have a defense, here's a justification for how I did the things that I did them and why. And you'll be able to get work authorization through there. But, the complications of that is you may not be able to leave the United States without abandoning your application. So that would be something that would be really complicated. And then, whether you have your identity documents or other things. Asylum is probably one of the trickier areas for somebody to come to the United States if you've been a streamer and then you got ran out of your country. Haven't seen that yet. I think it would be really fascinating. But yeah, I don't know. I might try to look that up. Because we hear a lot about content creators being doxxed or harassed and other things, but yeah, haven't really seen anybody using it for immigration, though. Anyway, that's something else that's just kind of fascinating me. So, yeah, I'd focus in on, U.S. copyright law, who owns the rights. If you're not a citizen of the United States, does that impact your IP or your copyright ownership and authorship? If I recall off the top of my head, the answer to that is no, it doesn't really have an impact. But all this would be stuff that I want to lay out. Copyrights and trademarks, and then maybe some updates and positions about contract law and employment law that kind of go hand in hand in there. With, of course, a very, very important section when we're talking about copyright law of like, okay, but who does own the copyright and which system should they use? Whether it's US copyright laws, international, like WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Office, or other collective intergovernmental agencies or organizations, or just like if you're from a specific country and you want to figure out whether your home country has a better IP management system, or now you're in the United States and you're trying to figure out which system applies, just like that procedural question. So, yeah, I think it would be a very interesting series, and I'm going to work with my boss as well as our marketing person, and we're gonna do it. So that part, I can definitely say, we have the means to do the research and to get those answers and everything. And we'll get some content for it. Okay, so let's see, what else did I want to talk about content-wise? Now, I mean, the other pieces are just like probably more AI-driven and tech-driven content, talking about maybe what I think we should be doing and just following up with any of the court notices or Copyright Office notices. Well, you were on the IP and Odyssey panel, and I mean, I guess I hogged that question. Generative AI, like, okay, I'm going to ask you this question because I think I can ask you it, and I'd be just interested to hear what you have to say. So, question to throw back at you is regarding something like Midjourney. Yeah. with something like Midjourney. I mean, I saw Zarya of the Dawn decision from the Copyright Office, and they're like, hey, this functionally is generating something from nothing, basically, is how they're saying it. So like you give it a prompt, but it's not actually like drawing the content. It's kind of just like pulling stuff. I read all of the decisions and I know exactly how they say it. I'm just at a loss for how to explain it in simpler terms right now. But the question came down to, or a question came down to, you know, hey, she put a lot of sweat of the brow. She put a lot of effort into finding the right prompts and to putting those in the right frame to get the images she wanted. And so we end up with this situation where it almost sounds like the Copyright Office is saying, hey, we definitely need the human component, but you know, with this content, you're not really able to get effort out of it. And so we kind of want to see the human element more. Oh, and for the record, this is something I've talked to my managing partner about, and he hates all of this. Like he very well, okay. He generally is of the position that AI could and should be eligible for more protections under some of these decisions. Like he disagreed with the Zarya of Dawn decision. So there's artistry in the prompts. He absolutely is going to agree with you on that. The fact that the same subject was maintained, a narrative was composed, a dialogue, all of that. Yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I guess, you know, for me, if I'm trying to think about these generative AI type prompts, then, you know, my question is how much involvement should be there from the artist? Because like after an opinion like that, my advice to clients would be, hey, and this is kind of like, we had a video about it. And so I was just like, okay, my advice is if you take something that is going to be made by Midjourney and you're not at risk for copyright infringement, then like you're going to have to put it through, you're going to have to treat whatever is outputted, like whatever is the result of Midjourney, as the canvas. And then you have to, you know, actually create the artwork on top of it. Basically, you know, take that work, make a derivative of it, and now that you've got the derivative, you've got your own original work of art with the human component that is going to adequately cover you and then become protectable. That's just kind of the way I see it in terms of making sure that the content is safe. Yeah, I mean, I guess stenciling it and then redrawing it, that could work. But I had somebody who was reaching out to me and they were like, hey, if I use Midjourney and I just go ahead and let's say I throw it in Photoshop. Never admit to tracing. That's true. I mean, also, if you admit to tracing something that comes out of one of those generative AI projects, it's like, well, congratulations, you're now party to the OpenAI suit, or you're now party to the Midjourney lawsuits that are out there. That would just be bad. I'm just thinking about it from a copyright infringement perspective. I mean, I think if we were to talk to somebody like CAD or other art professors and stuff, then they'd be like, yeah, of course I use stencils. And of course I use, well, I don't know about CAD, but like, I'll hear a lot of artists talking about, you know, using outlines or other things to kind of make it a little bit neater, I guess. Reference images, all that stuff. Some people will say it is cheating. Other people say it's like, no, it's just how art is made. But yeah. Oh yeah, so they were just talking about the person that I was referring to was asking me about it, and they're like, hey, what if I Photoshop the image and get a little bit more hands-on with it? And I was like, well, my take on it is, yeah, if you have a lot more involvement, if you're changing things, then probably going to be putting you in a safer position to claim ownership and authorship. Because the worst case scenario is they say, hey, look, that was something that was just made by AI, and AI is not a human, and therefore, you know, that part's not protectable. But like they did with Miss Kashtanova, I think was her name, who's the creator of Zarya of the Dawn. Yeah. I know we're getting back to that, but with Miss Kashtanova, like she very much had some content that was the story, that was the text, and other pieces that weren't specifically created with Midjourney. And so all of that stuff was still protectable as normal. They just got into sourcing and where the nature of the content came from. So I think maybe they came out with too bright line of a rule, but it's specifically in reference to using Midjourney. They definitely spelt that out in the opinion. And so then they put out some AI thing, like a policy opinion, and they're just like, hey, if you use AI like a writer uses a pen or a keyboard, then that part's fine. But if you're trying to substitute the artist or AI or anything like that, then that's just not how it works right now. I mean, in the sense that I talked about exploitation when I went into part of it. It's just like in the sense of like the film or voice actor community, any of those entertainment industries being substituted with generative AI. Like, I think in that context, it's a good opinion because it's like, hey, stop exploiting people, hire real people, because otherwise it's not protectable. Like, that's a good thing, you know? But with the Zarya of the Dawn creator, it's not like we were talking about some hugely exploitative corporation that was trying to just gut hiring illustrators. So, not really a policy argument to lean on for that particular use case. So, anyway. I don't know if you've seen it, Enver, but there is now...
The first flame quickly fades. Darkness will shortly settle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the machine learning databases, that's
doubt.
that's just going to be a big problem. I mean, with OpenAI, they've already said, hey, look, there's not a feasible way for us to do our business model without copying this stuff. And so because of that, all of it is necessary. Yeah. Well, that was one of the things I would always push for with when we're talking about AI, is just something that, okay, so like, here we go. You know, generative AI. If you're going to do something like this, then getting consent and having a rev split absolutely makes sense. But, you know, it all just comes back to licensing. I mean, look, between the two of us, Enver, you were 100% the most tech-savvy person. And so in my brain, I hear turn OpenAI off and on, and I'm imagining that big red button where it's just like, hit the button, turn it off. And then we'll hit the power button again, and it's back on. And, you know, it sounds really easy. And it doesn't sound like it's too late to do something like that. I mean, turn off the servers. Like, logistically, if I start to think about it more and more, then I'm like, okay, what do they have to do? Well, they're going to have to delete everything that was training the specific AI. And then, with all the right holders' perspectives, they just want that all to be deleted, right? Hey, it's copyright infringement, it's counterfeit, blah, 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 delete it. But, you know, if you want, then come back to us and we'll license, potentially. And then that's how you get consent, it's how you get the opt-in process. But the same regard, if they didn't delete everything, then what they could do is they could go through, and if they actually grabbed everything, they could have that list, which would be a very dangerous list to have during litigation, of like, hey, this is actually where the content originated, and we have all of the rights management information. And maybe we'll just use this list and knock on doors. Refund literally everyone. Investors would leave. Maybe Microsoft would just put it in hibernation for a few years. Yeah. All of those people who've been using ChatGPT to bother some of the people from G&G with those job opportunities and stuff through LinkedIn. All those small businesses, I don't know. In that context, yeah. No, like, I mean, overall, the infringement and everything has already happened. And so it's definitely going to come down to how can we adapt to it, unless there's going to be a big overhaul through the copyright lawsuits. Got some dramatic music there for that piece too. But yeah, no, I was talking about AI because of a reference to the No AI Fraud Act. How much does it cost to infringe an entire planet? That's a good question. Well, and you know, the 150K is intentional infringement. Like the willful or wanton, and with statutory damages. And so, that's all going to be varied, but it just wouldn't be feasible to determine that level of infringement because you're going to have multiple rights schemes. We're going to have people with content all over the place. And in a lot of countries, there's not going to be any money or any infringement. Didn't Russia remove infringement so that they could keep those fake McDonald's and stuff? I don't even know what they're doing anymore. Yeah. But no, I'm definitely pivoting a little bit here just because it's just very briefly. The No AI Fraud Act, where they're trying to basically make a federal name, image, and likeness right, a right to name, image, and likeness. And so we have the right against appropriation of name and likeness, name, image, and likeness, for example, in Virginia, but it's in a commercial context. Publicity rights, yeah. And they are primarily doing this from the lens of so many silly emails. Anyway, I kind of like the idea of a federal right to name, image, and likeness, or likeness rights. And so I kind of like the idea of this starting that conversation. And then we'll have the fun balance of state versus federal rights and trying to figure out the whole Chevron deference. But I think that could be a big thing to follow. I mean, it's already been a big piece of college sports, basketball, NCAA, all that stuff. And so this would just open the gates. So definitely something else I'm keeping an eye on. It's related to AI, but not the same conversation, different perspective. Because instead of copyright, dealing with the publicity or another name for the same stuff, basically. Really interested in seeing how that pans out. And then there was just another update where basically the Supreme Court didn't end up deciding to hear one of the Epic versus Apple decisions that was appealed. So Apple won most of the issues that had been decided at the lower court levels, except for the anti-steering policy. And so that's something that ended up going the other way. And basically, I'm going to be keeping an eye and seeing if there are any other big changes about that case or any of the other antitrust stuff. But the short of it is, Apple, i.e. the big corporation, won, is still winning. I guess we'll put it that way. Until they get any kind of big prohibition prohibiting them from, setting rates or for doing things the way that they're doing, running their marketplace, if you want to call it that, then that part's not going to be changing anytime soon. So that'll get us into a very interesting perspective when we're, keeping up with the conversations like Unity and other systems. I mean, if they get big enough and they're in a situation like the Apple App Store, then I guess what it also is doing is saying if you're anything smaller than the Apple App Store, then you're probably not going to be into any anti-competitive category. And so that's really what this is reinforcing. It's still really hard to get those anti-competition, antitrust type lawsuits in place. So in that sense, I don't know, it's a little scary. As our corporate overlords are only getting bigger and acquiring other entities, it definitely going to include Microsoft within that. But I mean, honestly, we've seen all of those get smoothed out. And so unless there's a big change to like the federal circuits or specifically the Supreme Court, we're not going to see any big changes with antitrust anytime soon, I don't imagine. Unless there's a big law that doesn't get struck down. It's one way to put it. So, yeah. Somebody was asking about Palworld in the other lawyer panel. So it wasn't with our panel, but I just thought it was really interesting because I've seen a lot of Palworld content that's now popping up where everybody's streaming it on TikTok, for example. And, well, okay, people are streaming it on Twitch and TikTok and YouTube and stuff, but I'm primarily seeing it on TikTok because that's my little scrolly app. And, the question came down to, it's Pokemon with guns, so how is it not infringement? Why haven't they been sued into oblivion yet? And so, just for the sake of saying it out there, the conversation that came up was, yeah, but we can't just say it's Pokemon with guns. Like, we really have to describe what everything is. And, how is it Pokemon with guns? Is it the concept of creatures, your pocket monsters that have weapons and stuff? Because those types of concepts generally aren't going to be protectable. Now, if you make a narrative-based storyline, like a plot, then as long as it's not like a generic plot, like this is now part of a specific genre, then it might be protectable. But just having creatures that battle one another, like, no, not necessarily protectable. And so what they were saying is like, look, if you take Pikachu and you put Pikachu into the game, then you're probably committing copyright infringement because you had to get the code for Pikachu, you had to get the design or something to copy it and put it in the game. But saying that there's a creature that is like Pikachu, it's a harder analysis. Is it derivative work? Is it its own thing? What's the source? All that stuff. But obviously if Nintendo or Pokemon Company or any of those parties wanted to take down Palworld, then they're going to say, nope, they did steal our designs. They tried to change it. They tried to make Cinderace look like something else to transform it, but like they stole our code, and through discovery, we'll figure it out. We'll know for sure if they stole all of our designs. And so that's going to be the challenge for them. Do they want to invest all the resources and time? And then do they actually have the ability to enforce and go after all that stuff? So my favorite thing was that, at the time during the panel on, Saturday? Yeah. Sam and some of the other panelists were talking about it very briefly. And, you know, they came up to like, if it's not literally the characters, then it's probably not going to be infringement. And I was like, huh, interesting. And then I kept hearing, it's like Pokemon with guns, blah, blah, blah. And today it was like, all right, I'm just going to take some time. I'm going to eat food right before I get on stream. And here's all these videos about Power World. Let's see how fun it looks or how interesting it looks. And then a video pops up and it's like, there's now a mod to reskin all of the content so that you can bring Pokemon into Power World. And I'm like, there's the infringement. There's the Pokemon code. Yeah. So maybe Power World would not want to allow something like that, because if they do, especially if they turn it into like a permanent feature of the game, then yeah, they're just asking for the Pokemon Company and Nintendo or others to chase them down. But anyway, I think I'm gonna hop in and play some actual Pokemon, because I'm getting a little tired of talking, and normally don't always chat for this long, but I've enjoyed Enver's company. Enver was on one of the panels with me and is also a privacy attorney. And I will not offer any other information because I haven't talked with you about that. So, okay, yeah, no shout outs. But also a part of the Discord. So yeah, somebody else in the game industry, TTRPG interest. But yeah, okay. All right, so I'm gonna have to change my scenes here. This is gonna be a little awkward for a second. You're always welcome. Yeah, you're always welcome to come through here. Discord's open. Also, if I don't message you, it doesn't mean that I don't care about you or anything. It just means I'm very distracted. And then when I do message you, it's like, oh crap. In that sense, I won't criticize Noah for not responding to messages. But yeah, I'll be around. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull this up so I can get it. Go. All right. Looks like I need to reconnect. There we go. Cool. All right, so here's my current little squad. It's primarily just based on wanted some water types to clear this little area. And then Baxcalibur is just one from the original campaign. Metagross, just a Pokemon I really wanted to level up. Joltik, just somebody that I'm trying to evolve. And so like, that's just what I'm working on. All right. Oh, I guess I can change my category and everything. All right, there we go. Look at me doing stuff. I still haven't seen a shiny, but I haven't been doing any of the special processes there. I know I need to heal, so I should do that. Alright, that is going to be the area. Actually, that's not what I'm trying to do. It's this button. Did I already beat Crispin? I think I beat Crispin last time. No, I haven't beat Crispin. Okay, I got my little self taken to... Well, I don't even know what I'm trying to say there. We went to court and lost. It's the functional equivalent. I don't know why I didn't just fly over it, but... Boom. We won't get that much experience. We'll get more because they didn't auto battle at least. All right. I can't remember how many Pokemon in the dex I'm supposed to have before I go talk to our camera friend, but I'll just check in. $200. Okay. Yeah, we're not there. Alright, so I'm looking for higher evolution tiers. Got Tauros. I don't really care too much about that. They brought back some of the Legends Arceus type quest with all of the challenges. Okay, so Psychic, so we're looking for... Change Pokemon. I'll do this one. Hey, Cozy! I have been very much meaning to get more involved with you and some of the other people that I chatted to from TwitchCon. I have basically just been off streaming and haven't been so active. So I'm definitely going to try to make a more concerted effort to get involved with your streams. But I know it doesn't necessarily mean something, but thanks for being here at a minimum. That's kind of, I guess that's the short and sweet part. Thanks for being here. Okay, so we got, let's find some other friend here. Psychic, okay. The grass part, It's gonna be the other thing. Alright, so we want to find something. Maybe I can pick a ghost type. I'll try this one out. We're offline. Yeah. we'll just do this for now. And then afterwards I can try to open it up. But yeah, something I was talking about earlier was MagFest. Had an overall good time. It's a marathon, being a 4-day convention. There's just so much going on there, and it can be really overwhelming. But I met a lot of my good friends and started to meet some other people that I'm really excited to get to know more. And I very much am looking forward to that part going forward. So I want to work on more educational content and community building this year. Those are my two big things. Oh, we got poisoned. That's not good. Yeah, we'll just keep throwing this out. I gotta think about. I'm also looking for other ways to upgrade this stream, and so maybe that'll be assets or things. Maybe that'll be alerts. Specifically, those types of assets. But open to ideas. If there are ever any things like that where you're like, man, this guy is just so boring to listen to, and if only he did blah, then I'm open to just, I'm going to call it very constructive feedback. If it's just like, I don't like the way he looks, well, okay, that's not very constructive. And, you know, the door is over there, you don't have to be here. But if it's like, you know, it's a little quiet, maybe you can make the music or the volume adjusted, stuff like that, yeah, sure. I can try to fix it. I could try to make the type of music a little bit more interesting or something like that. But, finding other ways for chat to engage. Not a shiny one. We'll grab it and I'll use a wonder trait for it. So I'll do that. Those are types of things that I'm brainstorming about in the back of my head, but if I'm not thinking about it, then I wouldn't know. There's so many apps and tools and things and extensions that you can add to your stream. And so I am now going to be trying to do a little bit more homework on that regard. The problem is I want to do a lot of research. I want to do a lot of digging, and I don't have enough time in the day. I'd like to study more of the immigration and gaming kind of stuff. What I was talking about earlier. I want to learn more about copyright and derivative rights. And ways to improve licensing. But very slow and steady process. Okay. Let's just find some of these bigger ones. They're more likely to have more experience. We'll see how much experience I'm getting for Joltik. I've leveled up Joltik like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, okay, so that's gonna work. I mean, the level difference is pretty significant here. But, oop, there we go. That one wasn't a one hit. Interesting. Alright, maybe one more here. Alright, let's see if Joltik evolves from this. There we go. It's doing it. Great. Now I can get rid of that one. Not as big of a fan of Galvantula or Joltik. I'm working on the decks. That's the reason why it's in my party. And honestly, I just don't know too much about the meta to comment on that. On like, oh, this is a good one for EVs, or its speed, or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm about to put it in the box anyway. And if there's a problem, then I can just reteach it the move later. Not a big deal. Alright, so what else do we have here? So I already have Vileplume. I think this one I just evolved, so I'll just go ahead and release it. Okay. Need special items for that. Need a trade. Well, okay. So I don't have somebody... Oops. Alright, let's just add something else. One of my higher level Pokemon. And let's just take out Crispin. Oh, maybe I think I wanted Toucannon. Okay. Instead of Quaquaval that I have in my main campaign team, I have been using Greninja because I got a Froakie from a trade. And so I want it to be a bit beefier. There we go. Hydro Pump sounds pretty nice. Okay, that's better. Okay, let's figure out where I am now. Do a quick save. Try to take on Crispin. So my favorite Pokemon is, I've been telling everybody Dragonair recently, so I'm just going with that. I have a lot of solid Pokemon that I like. I don't remember the original color, so I'm just going to shiny check it. Nope. But I do have it, so we're good. I think it's a really interesting Pokemon. Ah, here we go. Trainer. This is great. And there's a Zebstrika over there. Just for anybody that's new to the channel, or maybe stopping by saying like, what is this place? So I'm a lawyer. I chat about legal stuff. First hour and a half of my stream, I was talking to another lawyer about content and copyright law and all that. Don't always necessarily do that, but definitely something that I could happily do. So anyway, if you want to stay in touch, my name is James. I'm a lawyer who works in the field of intellectual property, business, and immigration. And so if you're somebody who's a content creator or a streamer, like on Twitch, for example, or YouTube, then I'd be happy to chat with you, talk about how to protect yourself and your business. Outside of that, if you got legal questions, I may or may not be able to help you, but you're welcome to reach out. I try to make this as more of an informal space of like, hello, lawyers are historically hard to access, and so here I am, You can find me at the conventions, you can find me on Twitch, and you can find me in my email or on the phone. So plenty of different ways to track me down and get some help. Oh wait, that's not where I want to go. Okay. Alright, fly over here really quickly. Let's do that. We'll make sure everything's healed up. So Pokemon-wise, I'm currently cycling between this so that I can beat the DLC and Pokemon Unite. Those are my two Pokemon games that I'm currently focused on. I think I can't remember if I've... Yeah, I just want to fly here. Bummer, I can't auto travel, can I? Oh well. One of the things that's really stressful about finding shinies in the overworld is they have been changing the color of the Pokemon to match like the scene, which is, impressive, but sometimes you're like, oh, that looks like the coloring is off, and then it's like, oh no, it's just because it's nighttime. And that's how color theory works. But when you don't have the little indicator for a shiny, it makes you go little mad, trying to be like, was that? I don't know, some of them it's just like slightly off color. That's like the mark that you're looking for. Okay, I saw like a bunch of stuff here. Is there something? I don't know. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna try saving. Let's try this again. I got myself beaten pretty badly last time. Like, I almost salvaged it with my high level Pokemon, and I'm still going to be cheating a little bit by my own personal standards, but kind of just want to make some progress today. And so we're very much anti-percenting this. Normally, I in the DLC, I would say, no, I want to grind and build up my own teams, but it's just taken a long time. So I'm just going to do what I'm going to do here. All right, so we got Ghost, Fire Flying. Yeah, it's gonna... Whiscash at least survived. Everybody's trying to beat up on them. I don't like that. There we go. One more. There we go. At least already got one Pokemon out. That's a great start. They definitely aren't leveled appropriately. You know, just grabbing some stuff out of the box. That's basically what happened here. I mean, I guess I could do Snowscape. I should have done that last turn. Yeah, it's not going to do so much against that one, but... Okay. I love Baxcalibur just because it's Godzilla. Like, it's a reskinned Godzilla with ice powers. Oh, please, not on Wishcast. We gotta get this thing out of here. Alright, whew. My Whiscash would not have survived that Solar Beam. It took all of Baxcalibur there. A lot of heavy lifting. Nice! Nice, Whiscash helped me out too. Off to a very solid start here. Mortar. I just want to see if I can hit it with Fissure. Be a little bit of a waste, but it may not even survive this, so it doesn't matter. Nope, okay. Alright, who should we call in next? Gotta be a little careful there with some of the water stuff. Or not water, some of the fire stuff against Baxcalibur, that's what I meant. Come on. Here we go, perfect. The Pasho berry. Okay. I might do something a little reckless. Blaziken's the Terra type, okay. Can't remember if it was fire or fighting type or what, but it's fire type, okay. Excalibur's in for big trouble piece here. Body press, alright. Thunderbolt, oof. That's right, that knows that part. That did not do nearly enough damage. Critical hit on Baxcalibur. Love it. Focus Blast. We don't like speed boost. Okay. Yeah, we're just going all in on Blaziken. Temper Flare, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. Melodic, please. Heat Wave. Okay, we might be able to survive that. It's getting a little close for comfort though. I really don't have any good moves there. Okay, that's not going to be good. Quick attack's not going to be strong enough either. I probably should have just popped it up. Alright. Interesting. Okay. Ice type. That's probably not a good thing, but I'm stressing. Man, okay. Okay. There it is. I really don't have a team left. Oops. Hitting chords and things. So I still am gonna have to come back because these are not... They're not gonna get the job done. because they're just not going to outspeed Blaziken. I don't know, we're just going to try to throw everything. If anything can survive, then great. I didn't realize how suboptimal a lot of this stuff would be, but... 2 cannons out, okay. Now it's just going to come down to defense. No. Alright, we'll try that one again. I need to level up some stuff. Alright, yeah, we got beat up, I know. Alright, so... Metagross really just needs some more leveling. Oh, I don't want to use the can. It's like really close to leveling up, and so I would rather do something to just level up, have it. There we go. I'd rather go ahead and hit the level and then not have a bunch of experience that just gets lost. None of these are standing out as shiny to me, at least. Here we go. If you come into the stream and you tell me that you've beaten Crispin or the others, then which Pokemon did you use? Did you use an original team from Pokemon Scarlet or Violet? Or did you use Pokemon specifically from the DLC? There's the other Pyroar. I should use those experience candies too. I don't know why I didn't. Not a lot of experience, but everything counts. 2 cannon. It's just not going anywhere right now. Like, these are really high level trainers. Actually, let's do that too. Here, we'll connect to the internet. Open up Poke Portal. Try to see if there are any good raids that I may be able to do. Because if so, then it'd be cool, but also I'd be able to get some candy. Okay. All right, so let's see. Might be able to do the Haxorus one here. Because I got my Tinkaton. I have to think about all the typing stuff. Not, like I said, not super great. Okay, we're definitely going to be waiting for this for a second. Hardest thing about a lot of the features here is just patience, right? Wasn't able to join. All right, so probably going to be too late to join most of these as well. But I can't just refresh it. I wish I could just refresh it. Part of me just wants to use Garganacl against this. Have Minecraft Rock versus Golem. Golem. I don't even know what to call it. Rock Ball versus Rock Block. I can't get out of this one. I have to wait however long it takes and then go from there. All right, here we go. Let's refresh. Okay, so my first thought is, are there any that I'm looking for? I really love that 1-star raid just for being itself. Maybe I can join this one. Okay, so they're going for Psychic. I don't know, I kind of just want to throw this in there. It's shiny. That's what a lot of people do. Should I pick a Psychic Pokemon? I should probably be more helpful. Oh, that's not... We'll just stick with this one. Try that fighting to fighting typing. Not the best choice, but at least know it's leveled up. And we'll have some resistances. Play rough. We'll see that or like Focus Blast. Those types of moves can be pretty rough. Look, they got a shiny too. We are just not doing that much. Alright. Play rough. Okay, go figure. Let's do some cheers. Go out. We're gonna try to buff our attacks. And I'm out because I made a terrible choice. Alright. That really didn't do that much. Wow. All of the attacks that it's hit me with have just managed to be super effective. Alright, so I probably should use a heal up. Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, everybody else has been fine. At least if I made the poor choice for damage and everything else, then I can try to boost everybody. Good. Looks like they knocked it out. Okay, well, I didn't survive, but everybody else did. It all comes down to the terror typing. Yeah, I'll catch it. Just throw a random Pokeball at it. Not a shiny or anything, though. Got some spicy Herba Mystica. Alright, I'm gonna drop those candies. Alright. Take care of this. There we go. No, we're not going to use agility. Look at that. That's pretty nice. Alright, let's see if we can find another one real quick. And then, with a little extra leveling, I will see about... See if maybe I could do a Tinkaton here. For steel typing, or fire. Yeah, they have a good fire type. Okay, let's do this. pick this for now. I don't really get what's going on with the lobby. Hope that's not bad thing, but I do have a Skeleturge. Let's just do that. The ghost typing is probably a silly thing here, but try to get Will-O-Wisp on it. Actually, I should just hit a Torch Song, try to build it. Frostlass with Disable? Very good. And that was a crit too. Alright, good. We got a good start to damage. Snowscape. Okay. That's gonna boost its defense. Because I just read that one. That can hurt. Oh, I guess it did both of our attacks. That's fine. Alright, attack up. I like that. There we go, Drain Punch. We're just going to keep Torch Songing it. I like Frostlass a lot too. The Pokedex entry and the lore behind it, creepy, but I am very much a fan. Like, it meets my aesthetic. The visual aesthetic, I should clarify. I realize, like, after all the qualifications I'm doing, it's still just making it sound like I'm agreeing with the idea of a Pokemon just, like, haunting hikers and stuff. Okay, let's go see how much experience I have and whether that will make a difference. Actually, I want to check all this here. Maybe I can change some of the moves. There are none moves, are there? Oh, Meteor Mash. There it is. Goodness, I was waiting for something to happen. Because I tried to do it before, but... There we go. Alright, well, I've got a better setup now. Now we're good with that. Okay, and where's Muddy Water? So that can hit both of them. Aqua Tail has a slightly better accuracy, but it only attacks one Pokemon at a time. So I don't really need that trade-off right now. Alright. Oops. I was trying to save and try that again. I didn't really do too much of a difference this time, but we'll see if I can do something here. I just want to see if I can knock it out by sheer force or, I don't know, some RNG luck. And I haven't played this since the last time. That I streamed, so. Alright. I think some stuff may have been uploaded. Okay. I try to take Talonflame out. Sunny Day does not help. For me, anyway. We're just gonna... Ah. Not enough damage, though. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. Gotta use all the water stuff, even though I have this Ice King over here. Oh, no, it's an Ice Queen. Ice Queen. Excalibur. Yikes. That's really not good. Well, at least this time they're focusing on the other Pokemon so that I can keep up my Whiscash. There we go. That needs all the leveling it can get. Keeps trying to will-o-wisp my Excalibur. She does not take too kindly to that, but at least this is working out. I don't know why I wanted to use Icicle Spear. It was just a silly choice. Alright, I know I gotta take out Magmortar too. This Magmortar has Thunderbolt as well. Okay, just keep wasting that moveset. That's fine. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't do that before. Come on, you can do it, Whiscash. Alright, now I use Icicle Spear. It's losing all the speed advantage it has with that critical hit. I love it. Jeez. That was a very, very nice citrus berry. Come on, one more. Perfect. Alright, Whiscash, you did that literally all by yourself. Took several turns, but you did it. Alright, Blaziken. No, this is it. Alright. Probably won't let me do Fissure. I'm just gonna keep going at it. Alright, you're gonna Terastallize, and I'm gonna Terastallize. We're gonna have a Terra party. Look at that queen go. She got her crown on. I feel way more confident now. The speed is going to be a huge problem if these two get taken out. But we got first hit. There we go. Yes! Wow. Just changing one move from a really silly, weak move into a powerful move. Who knew? I didn't really level up the others that much, but now I have. Also, I didn't Terastallize at the right Pokemon. Okay, cool. So we made some progress tonight. stream progress wise, I'm still going to be aiming for affiliate. For affiliate, it's primarily coming down to getting the average CCB. And so if you are interested in the channel and sticking around and help me out to do that, then, you know, any and all help is appreciated. I'm basically going to be starting for the next 30-day period. From now, I like had a really wacky holiday schedule, but hopefully I'll be back into a regular stream rotation where I stream Mondays. And then from there, like I said, it's just the average of 3 viewers that we're going for when I'm actually on. Always open to ideas to plan like events or to co-stream with people. I've got a few offers and just got to figure out the logistics, but I might be doing that soon or in the near future. We'll put it that way. Okay, and so I gotta figure out what the other elites will be like. And I'm definitely gonna have to swap my team out. So I can figure out if I want to keep any of these and just deal with potential type disadvantages, kind of like what I did. Yeah, let's figure that out. Alright, so we've got the water area, coastal biome, so grass and electric, generally. I mean, I do have Galvantula that I could use. Rillaboom's not there level-wise. Got a Politoed. Can add to my frog counter there. Haven't been talking about it, but yeah, anytime I get into a big rant about frogs, I've got a little counter, and you can just type !frogs. Or if you just like frogs and you just want to add to the counter, you can do the same thing, and it'll do it. Trevenant. Oh, I haven't even gotten the new evolution there. Okay. No, these are all just going to be... Oh, where's my Pomode? That'll be one of my... We'll swap out Whiscash. Yeah, I like Pomode. Serena would have been fun as well. I was playing as Serena in Pokemon Unite, but Just not a good time to play a Serena right now. Alright, where's my Palmote? I wasn't looking for it earlier. Here we go. Moose. Alright, so 2 cannon. Yeah, okay. Kind of just want to max out Baxcalibur to 100. And so part of me wants to keep it there for that reason. But then I have to figure out about the others. Let's see if I have a grass type. That's going to be worth some salt here. I don't think I do. I think anything else I'm going to have to level up quite a bit. Trevenant, it's as close as I got. Sinistcha. Alright, so... those two will give me a fighting chance. Honestly, I just want to see if I can go take out the coastal biome meter. I think we can do that with these two. Alright, so there's definitely going to be a spot where I can heal up somewhere. There it is. Alright, one final little swoop here, and then I gotta hop off so I can go to bed. Alright, I will have to go through and do some of those little quest lines. Yep, I'm getting called. This is going to be my last thing of the day. Oh, right. Okay, I'll ask you 5 questions about Pokemon. If you can answer them correctly, you pass. Sounds fair. Pikachu. Okay. Oh, okay, that's easy. It's its cheeks. It's in the part of its body that it's highlighted. Venonat, okay. Tina? These questions feel really silly. Nope, that's not right. Wow. Okay. Okay, so I don't know this. I'll be honest. I thought radar detection would have been its antenna, but I don't know that Pokemon fact then. Yeah, radar vision. Okay. I have this bottom. Can I see under them? I think it's the one in the middle. And the mark on the bottom. I don't know anything about this Pokemon. Oh no. The one on the right is the pink one. It specifically referenced it, so I kept my eye on it. Granbull. I don't know. I mean, I'd say it's belly, but yeah. It's not because I know anything special about the Pokemon. It's just like, maybe if you're laying on its belly and you have your head up against its jaw, it's kind of like giving you a brace. That was what I was thinking of. Well, it let me miss a few. That's fine. Alright, let's get to the part where I actually have Pokemon that are gonna be... Huh, okay. Alright, let's do this. I got my overpowered Pokemon. But like I said, I'm just here to kind of move forward with the progress. Oops. Whoops. Button mashing. Alright, here we go. We'll see if this is like a different style battle. especially with how I'm playing right now. I almost wish that instead of those little challenges, that they just... Oh, goodness. My promote strategy is terrible right now. Got all the fairy types. Okay, we took a little bit of damage. Ah, that's not good. Well, there went my entire strategy, so... Good news, if this can survive, then it'll be very handy right now. Tailwind, okay. If Matcha Gotcha can go first. Ooh. Alright, we're okay. There we go, we got Gramble out. I'll probably just continue to be part of the strategy there. Just to get some health back. Whimsicott's over here doing all the things that I avoided when I played Pokemon growing up, which is strategizing. Slowbro. And survive. Still not getting any one-hit wonders over here. It's gonna be back up to half, more than half. Okay. Yikes. Flamethrowers, not nice either. Please? Okay, good. At least took that one out. Oops. Alright, so it's got Flamethrower. Oh, for me I was like, I didn't send out Primarina, but that's probably special. Yep, not surprised there. Huh. Let's just go all in on this. Goodbye, Metagross. And it doesn't even affect it. How silly goose how much of a silly goose am I over here? The light screen wore off, okay. Sure would have been nice if I could have used that. Alright. That's been its own problem, so it's nice to at least have that one out of the way. Ice Beam, it's probably gone. Yeah, it's gone. Okay. Alchemy. Yeah, this is how we're gonna wrap up today. I just thought that if it was all water types, it would be fine, but it's got water and fairy. So the fairy part was very much not part of my strategy. And it'll be good to remember that. And definitely boost Metagross going into this one. Then I can probably have some other counters. Like just Tinkaton, some other steel types. Or just, yeah, some other things in there. But that's how these have gone. They've been pretty tough. And if you're not really optimizing teams, at least how you play, then these DLCs are gonna make you invest some time and Googling some stuff like that. So that's what I gotta do. But I'm not gonna do it now. I'm gonna hop off. So thanks everybody for stopping through, and informal shout out to Inver and Cozy for coming through and chatting or lurking. So just want to say thank you all. And I know Cozy has been actually streaming, and I say that because Inver doesn't really stream that much. So I'll just drop a little shout out for Cozy being there. Yeah. All right. So Cozy Bean does a lot of really cool stuff. I met them at TwitchCon, and if you're looking for somebody, another content creator to check out, then they have a really great community. They do a lot of D&D type stuff, Baldur's Gate, Final Fantasy, if I got that right. But check them out. And I'll be back next week. I'm still going to be looking on building on the ideas that we talked about today. And so my immigration and gaming educational content packet is something I'm working on. I'm mentally trying to frame it right now. And then I will start getting some articles or TikTok videos or YouTube shorts, probably just like recorded videos with shorts in mind. And then after that, always looking into ways to make the gaming industry better for creators in general. The immigration is just like one narrow focus, but looking into like licensing and other things that will help across the board. So generally speaking, trying to get more involved with community and growing my own personal community and not just being a part of everyone else's. So those are some of my big goals for this channel and just myself personally for the year. So thanks for everybody for being here. And, if you give me a sidebar, just a side conversation, like, hey man, you really got to liven up your stream or do, something. And you got some suggestions, I will keep my ears open and I will do my best to take that feedback and actually do something with it. I know my follow through has been a bit lacking with growing and building the stream. And so I will also just hold myself accountable to that. I keep telling myself I want to grow the stream. And so if I do, I got to show up. I got to get content and then I got to, edit, got to do all those things. So I'll focus on all that, but thank you so much for being here, everyone. Again, my name is James. You can stay in touch. The easiest way to do that is to follow. And I'll be back at least on Mondays, maybe additional times on the weekend or other days. But I'll talk about that on the stream or with the Discord. So I'll drop those links there. All right. Thank you so much again, and I will see you all next week.